Hi everyone, welcome back to Shining Empathy. My name is Joel and this is your new moon reading for the March 27th, 2017 new moon. I don't think there's a whole lot to go into as far as catch up. Obviously the spring equinox has come and gone. So happy spring. I'm sure that most of us aren't quite feeling the spring weather yet, but in time. So yeah, brush up for anyone who is new to these videos and concepts of new moon and full moon cycles and what they bring. The new moon cycle portion is much more in terms of regards to sowing the seeds, new intentions, new beginnings. I think that kind of sums it up. But yeah, it's just kind of like beginnings. So I guess that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and start pulling for the spread. It's kind of funny. This is my first reading coming back after taking out my weekly readings. So I'm noticing how much more of a gap there is, which I have to say is nice because it's leaving more space for me. When I feel inspired to do something else, that space is now there. So I'm looking forward to just kind of having that there. So I apologize, though, for everyone who kind of was looking forward to those weekly readings, but this is definitely working out better for me. So anyway, let's get into it. Set the intention. This is for the new moon, for Monday's new moon. And I'm sure that you guys probably noticed, but along with the last full moon, but Shining Empathy, got a bit of a facelift. We got kind of a branding logo that came from a friend of mine. We've been working together on. So credit goes to Gio Petrucci Design for that. Thanks, Gio. Just really cool to kind of see my branding portion come together finally. So yeah, really excited about that. Hope you guys are liking that too. Okay. I'm going to pan the camera down for you. That should do it. Okay, so let's pull the cards. All right. So some interesting things going on here. So at the heart of everything here, we have community. I think of this more as your tribe, the people that you relate to, and this is outside of family. I mean, your family might be encompassed in this if they kind of relate to, if you relate to them rather, as your tribe or your community. But this is much more like your soul family, the people that you just really strongly resonate with, who kind of get you on certain levels. You can think of it like brotherhood, sisterhood kind of thing. But these are definitely people that if you were to reflect on who they are to you, it would be your tribe, okay? So it's revolving around tribe and community. So it sounds like we might be reaching out and connecting with more of the people who are in our community or in our tribe. What's causing us to do that, and actually before I get into that, let me just pull a little bit more information on that. And the community at hand, the tribe at hand, has something to do with that. What you have in common, rather, is something that you're all very focused on. It feels very singular with this card. For some of you, it might be teaching because this guy's a teacher. So that might be it might be more of like a teachers conference kind of thing, or something that you and a bunch of other people who are teaching that you all have in common as far as what subject you're really into. But it feels even more so specifically like it's just something that you are all very focused on and that you all share in common. So what's been directly affecting this, it's kind of the catalyst, as it were, is victory. Victory can be looked at sort of like the death card. It's sort of like a reimagining of the death card, really. But it's about completion. It's about cycles coming to an end. Having come to the end of one cycle and something new is about to begin. There's definitely a sense of achievement that goes along with the victory card, okay? This victory card is putting us in a place of confidence, is putting us in a place of maybe better access to resources, more stability. All these things kind of put together are causing us to either reach out to or create or what have you with the tribe, with the community, okay? So, and this card, I kind of think of this being the card like, I'm not going to say this guy knows himself, but he's very sure of himself, okay? And I feel like that sureness of ourselves and what we want and what we're going to do is affecting who we want to reach out to, the community that we most want to connect with. In our growth spot is the temple path. It means that as far as what's receiving the most growth with this new moon is getting back onto our spiritual path. And for a lot of you, it looks like you have had to leave something behind. You've had to walk away from something. Being in the growth spot, I would say you've probably already done it. Or when it happens, you're not going to have a huge problem doing so. If walking away was going to be a problem, and this card often is a problem card for a lot of people, just because I think a lot of people just have a hard time with change, leaving something behind, worrying about regrets and what if. But in the growth spot, it sounds like we've already done it, or when the time comes, we won't have a problem doing it. And that is directly connected to us just feeling the need to get back onto a path that's more true to ourselves and who we are, what we are. And again, because we're more sure of ourselves, we kind of know ourselves better, we have more confidence, maybe more of the resources we're plugged into. We're not having such a hard time with walking away and getting back on that path. We know ourselves a little bit better now, right? Now, the challenge card is deceit. This often talks about kind of lying to the self more than anything, self-deceit. All right, cards are not dicking around here. So there is some deceit going on in relationships right now. This might, in fact, be a deceitful partner, but by the looks of it, it's self-deceit in terms of your caring connections, in terms of your caring relationships. Not being true to yourself about either your feelings, what you want, what your needs are, the things you want to do. You have to, if I would just give one piece of advice when I see these two cards together coming up in the challenge spot together like that, is first, be true to yourself, be honest with yourself about what it is you need and what you want. Then, when you've done that, be honest with who's involved. If it's a lover, if it's just a really close friend, a business partner, whoever. Caring connections doesn't necessarily mean just soulmate, lover relationships kind, but just soul connections of any kind. The people that are in our lives for almost like that soul reason, like we were meant to connect, meant to be friends, meant to be lovers, meant to be business partners, whatever, but it's a soul connection, okay? Very deep resonance. So just make sure that you're being honest with yourself so that you can be honest with whoever is involved, okay? And then also for those of you who are dealing with maybe some deceit on the other side, if you've been sort of maybe betrayed a little bit, that's kind of being coming up in the challenge area for you as well right now. All right, directly connected to this is an opening opportunity for the second chakra, all right? So second chakra deals with it's our relationship center. It's also our pleasure center. The one thing that really blocks the second chakra is guilt. Okay, the things that we sort of blame ourselves for. Okay. Let's see here. And yeah, as a result, it's kind of funny because you'd think when something like storm comes up, which is sort of like really turbulent emotional weather, chaos, really challenging times sometimes ahead. Doesn't necessarily mean physical change is happening, but there's definitely an inner landscape of just like a whirlwind happening here. You would think that, at least instinctively, that it would have a blocking effect on the second chakra, but this storm, whatever this is for all of you out there, is having an opening effect on your second chakra. Okay, whatever the storm is, it's actually moving that block. So storms don't necessarily mean bad, mean negative, okay? Like storms can actually, as much as they can be hard to endure, they can have a way of getting energy moving, especially old stagnant energy that hasn't moved in a long time, all right? So be mindful of that, an opportunity for that. In the strength spot, hostilities. Hostilities is our direct aggressive action card. It means that it's a call to arms. It's a call to action. Let's see a little bit more detail there. So being in the strength spot, it would also mean that we're not going to necessarily have a really hard time doing that. If it were in our challenge spot or in another spot, I might argue that it might pose as a bit of a challenge for us to take up action. But as a result of being in the strength spot, we're not going to have much of a problem with it. And our biggest motivation is actually going to be our resources. We're feeling, maybe it's spring is in the air right now, and we're kind of feeling that new pouring in of energy, more daylight, more time on our hands, maybe it feels like. But just more energy kind of pouring in that's giving us the motivation to seek out and do what we need to do to gain access to those resources that we feel like we don't have, okay? And what this is leading up to is a trip, either moving or a journey for a lot of you. Let's have a look at what the details of that are. So appreciation is literally kind of, it's a gratitude card. It's sort of making sure that you're not overlooking the small little details, stop and smell the roses, quite literally. And with journey there, I am getting the feeling, I want to have a look at these up right here together. Journey is very specifically, okay, a picking up and going somewhere card. All right? So I think that the two together just simply mean that wherever it is that you're going, don't forget the small things, the little things, all right? Don't get so hung up on all the really big, flashy stuff. Really, really stop and take in the details, If you're going somewhere like if you're flying around the world or somewhere, stop, smell the air, and take in the scenery, and really appreciate all those finer details, okay? Because I feel like that's going to be what's most important for whatever this trip is. For some of you, it might actually be moving, and that might be just kind of like embracing the finer details of moving and what that entails. But I feel like for a lot of you, this is some kind of this is an actual like trip, not necessarily a move. So just make sure that you stop and appreciate the smaller things, okay? Stop and smell the roses, all right? Practice some gratitude for everything around you as it is. Okay, let's have a look at your last message from Spirit. So what the cards are just simply wanting you to know is that everything that's happening here, if you're relating to it, you asked for it. You wanted this, okay? So just bear that in mind, that if everything maybe is a little bit chaotic and whatnot, you wanted this, you wished for something. Cornucopia comes up when we make a wish. It's like, you can think of it like wishing on a star, but like, it's very much that deep, deep request to the universe. It's almost primal. And I really, really want this. And maybe you never vocalized it out loud, but some part of you has asked for this and wished for this and wanted this so bad that you have now moved into the creation part and have begun to create what it is you want. All right? So just remember, you wished for this. This is something you really want, and maybe you really need it. We don't always need what we want, and we have to sometimes create it to realize that. But whatever it is that you're going through right now, just remember, this is your creation. All right? This is your wish. You wanted this. All right, I think that's it for this reading. Pan you back up here. Doot. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this week. Well, not this week's reading. This new moon reading. I'm gonna have to get out of the habit of saying that. I hope you connected with it, connected with the messages. If you liked the reading, please go ahead and like the video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Shining Empathy. You can check me out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Shining Empathy as well. And until the full moon, I will see you next time. Bye for now.